So, I did a thing. A pretty big thing, actually. For me, that something was the Apple Vision Pro. The decision to hit that buy button wasn't exactly a marathon of careful consideration. It was more like a sprint, fueled by tech enthusiasm and a dash of recklessness. My bank account probably let out a silent scream, but the tech reviewer in me was practically buzzing. This wasn't just another gadget. This was Apple stepping into a whole new arena. I remember watching the keynote, seeing the demos, and feeling that familiar tingle. It's the tingle that says, this could be a game changer, or it could be an incredibly expensive paperweight, and the only way to truly find out is to get your hands on it. So, yeah, impulse played a huge role. The order was confirmed. The Apple Vision Pro was on its way, and my journey into spatial computing was about to begin. My first real encounter with the Vision Pro was through Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference, WWDC. The presentation was slick, the demos were mind-bending, and the ambition was palpable. Initially, I was cautiously optimistic. We've seen VR and AR headsets before, each promising to revolutionize our lives. But then, the details started to emerge. The M2 chip, the R1 chip, the incredibly high-resolution micro OLED displays. Apple wasn't cutting corners on the hardware. The more I read, the more my skepticism began to erode. It wasn't just about the specs, it was about the potential applications, productivity, entertainment, communication. Apple was painting a picture of a device that could seamlessly blend the digital and physical worlds. Rationalizing a purchase like this is an art form in itself. For me, it's partly about the content. Reviewing cutting-edge tech is my job, and the Vision Pro is undeniably at the forefront of consumer-facing mixed reality. The hype was real, and I was ready to dive in. The allure of being an early adopter was incredibly strong. Alright, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the price. The Apple Vision Pro starts at $3,499, and that's just the starting point. For that base price, you get the headset itself, the external battery pack, a polishing cloth, and a couple of headbands. But the spending doesn't necessarily stop there. Then comes the customization. Apple wants this to be a personal experience, and that starts with the fit. During the online ordering process, you have to do a facial scan using an iPhone or iPad with Face ID. If you wear glasses, you need to order custom Zeiss optical inserts which come at an additional cost. So for many users, that base price quickly creeps up. Add in the optical inserts and you're looking at closer to $3,600 or $3,650. And then there's Apple Care Plus. Apple Care Plus for the Vision Pro adds another $499 to the bill. The purchasing process itself was smooth, very Apple-like. Clicking confirm felt like a commitment, a step into uncharted territory. Once that order confirmation email landed in my inbox, the waiting game began. Pre-orders opened and delivery estimates quickly started to stretch out. I managed to get in fairly early, but there was still a period of several weeks between hitting buy and the projected delivery date. The anticipation during this period was immense. I found myself rewatching keynote segments, reading every article and snippet of information I could find. The Apple Store app became a frequently visited destination just to check the order status. Then came the shipping notifications. That glorious email. Your Apple Vision Pro has shipped. You get a tracking number and suddenly you're an amateur logistics expert. Each scan, each update from the courier was a mini-event. The final few days before delivery are always the toughest. You know it's close, but it's not quite there yet. You might find yourself checking the tracking page multiple times a day. I was clearing space on my desk thinking about the unboxing video. The wait, while sometimes agonizing, is also part of the ritual of getting a new piece of highly coveted technology. The day the Apple Vision Pro finally arrived was a pretty big deal. The box itself was classic Apple minimalist, clean, and surprisingly substantial. Lifting the lid revealed the headset nestled securely. It's a striking piece of industrial design. My first impression holding the Vision Pro was its density. The curved glass front is beautiful, and the aluminum frame feels robust. Alongside the headset, the box contained the light seal, the two headbands, the external battery pack, a USB-C power adapter, and that all-important polishing cloth. Connecting the battery was straightforward. Putting the headset on for the first time was a moment of truth. The initial setup process began as soon as I powered it on. It involves eye-tracking calibration, which was surprisingly quick and accurate. The initial wow moment came when the pass-through video activated, showing my surroundings. Then, the Apple interface appeared, floating in the space in front of me. The icons were sharp, the text was crisp, and the sheer novelty of seeing this digital overlay on my real world was undeniably impressive. My first few minutes were spent just looking around, opening and closing apps, and marveling at the precision of the eye tracking and hand gestures. Alright, so after the initial unboxing excitement, it was time to actually live with the Vision Pro for a bit. Let's start with the good, because there's a lot of it. The displays are absolutely stunning. Watching movies in the immersive environments is a genuinely breathtaking experience. The eye tracking and hand tracking are also incredibly intuitive most of the time. The pass-through video is also a standout feature. It's not perfect, but it's good enough that you don't feel completely isolated from the world. The sound quality from the built-in audio straps is also surprisingly good. For productivity, having multiple large, resizable virtual screens is a game changer. Now, for the not-so-good. The biggest issue is the weight and comfort. While the solo knit band looks cool, it puts a lot of pressure on your face. The cabled battery pack can be a bit annoying, and the 2-hour battery life means you're often reaching for a charger. And yes, being a first-generation product, there are glitches. Sometimes the hand tracking misinterprets a gesture, or an app might unexpectedly quit. So, the big question, after all the hype, the expense, and the experience, was the Apple Vision Pro worth it? For me, as a tech reviewer and someone deeply invested in the future of technology, the answer is a qualified yes. It's an incredible piece of engineering, a true glimpse into what spatial computing can be. The display quality, the eye and hand tracking, and the overall polish of the user experience are miles ahead of most other headsets on the market. It has genuinely changed my perspective on what's possible with mixed reality. However, for the average consumer, it's a much tougher sell. The price is undeniably prohibitive for most people. This is not a mass-market device, not yet. The comfort issues, the tethered battery, and the still nascent app ecosystem are significant hurdles for mainstream adoption. It's a first-generation product in every sense of the word. Looking at the broader implications, the Vision Pro feels like a significant moment for the entire mixed reality industry. Apple's entry validates the space and will undoubtedly push competitors to innovate further. We're likely to see an acceleration in the development of spatial computing applications and experiences. Ultimately, my personal verdict is that while the Vision Pro isn't perfect, it's a profoundly impressive piece of technology that has genuinely excited me about the future. The Vision Pro isn't just a product, it's a conversation starter about where we're headed. And I'm glad to be part of that conversation.